I don't think I have cried like that since Secret Superstar.
Yeah, wow.
Honestly, like it's for real.
Feat.
Yeah, Secret Superstar had me crying a lot all the way through. Yeah. This didn't have me crying all the way through, but I had a moment in the movie which didn't hit you like it hit me.
No.
But I was literally like choking up.
I know.
And I was like, holy crap, like, can you calm down, Jaby? What the hell's the matter with you? Stop being a little bitch. This will start out with a non-spoiler, and then we'll go into a spoiler section. You'll be warned in advance when that spoiler thing happens, so that you don't hate Jaby and Achara, because we love you and we want you to love us as well, you know? Super 30, starring Hrithik Roshan, as well as a lot of other talented actors. My God, there were so many talented actors in this movie. So a summary of the film is you've got this guy who comes from a poor background, and you know, his family's impoverished, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And he is very, very smart, and he's got a lot to offer his society. And he is basically accepted into Cambridge and wants to go to Cambridge, but he doesn't quite have the funds. So he goes and becomes a teacher, and then realizes that the people he really wants to teach are these young, poor kids who have a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And that's the premise of the movie right there. And therein you can kind of see where it goes. But where it ends up, you will not expect. It goes to places I had no idea it was gonna go there, and I'm like, whoa, that was a great third act. Like, it was powerful.
Yes.
And it was necessary, and it was wild. So that's the summary of the story. I loved what Hrithik brought to this. His acting was just like so amazing. He masters the, I don't wanna cry, but I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, now I wanna cry. Damn it, Hrithik, like, just stop with the tears. Oh, I see you doing the tears. I'm gonna do the tears too. Look, we're both fucking crying. What's the matter with us?
It's like, I'm not crying, you're crying. You started it.
Two grown-ass men crying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I thought he did a wonderful job. At some point, when we did the trailer reactions, I saw something in the comments somewhere, someone complaining about his accent not being quite what the accent's supposed to be. And I asked these two girls who had watched the movie at the same screening we did, and they were like, no, his accent was great, but he sounded great to me. And then they started to tell me his history with his stutter and all that. I'm like, no, I know that part. I'm asking specifically about this movie. Like, how is his acting here? They're like, no, he was awesome. I'm like, okay, cool, because I thought he was awesome, but I don't speak Hindi, so.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't know a Bihari accent if it smacked us in the face.
Right.
But yeah, he seemed good.
This film did a great job of, even though it's a biopic, even though it's a true story. I mean, obviously, they took liberties. I imagine they took liberties somewhere. I haven't bothered to read up his actual story yet, but I imagine they took creative liberties, you know, artistic licensing, in order to tell a more effective story. But for me, as an American, you know, as a Westerner, I watch this thing and I'm like, wow, this is a solid structure.
Yeah.
This story, like the levels it goes through, creating these setbacks and obstacles for the main character or characters, you know, whatever it is that works better for you. I think they did a great job of creating an adventure for this guy.
Yeah.
You know, and one where you really, really root for him.
Yeah, it was a long movie.
Yeah.
But
I didn't feel it.
Yeah. So, good job.
Long by American standards.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
And, you know,
no, 2 hours and 42 minutes. Jeez, I just looked at that.
I was expecting it to be on the longer side, even though I didn't know the exact runtime, but I didn't really care. I was invested in what was happening, and I was, you know, I was there 100%, way more than 100%, because the only thing that got in the way of my emotions at any point was the music.
Yeah, I agree. They really used the music to up the epic feeling of what was happening and to kind of underscore the emotion. But sometimes I was trying to fight the music because I felt like, no, you're trying to tell me how to feel, music. Just stop that. Stop that right now.
Right.
I know how I want to feel. Don't try and manipulate me.
Yeah, that was about, I'd say like 30% of the time the music was doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't all the time.
Yeah, 70% of the time it was fine. It was right where it needed to be. And I just go ahead.
Even really good.
It was really, exactly. It was really good. But the 30%, obviously, it sticks out like a sore thumb because it's getting in the way of you being able to just accept what's happening in the movie. But sometimes it didn't matter because what was happening was so moving. God, just like thinking about it is like messing with me. I'm trying not to let it get to me. And you'll know exactly what I'm talking about once we get to the spoiler section. So yeah, the music for the most part was fine, except for that 30%. Like I said, Hrithik was amazing. This is my second or third film with him that I've, my third, I believe. Because ZMND was one.
Kabil,
and then this. And every time I watch him, I'm like, this dude's a damn good actor. Because he's got subtleties, as far as I can tell. He's got really good subtleties, and it's that crying thing that I was talking about earlier that really makes me believe him, because to me, it's like when men cry in real life, there's a certain way they go about doing it because they're trying to maintain their masculinity.
Yeah.
And so they don't want people to see it. And the way he went about it, I'm like, that felt so real. It felt informed by experiences, like personal experiences. That's how much I believed him, even though he's just acting. But like, there are moments where he like turns away from someone and he's covering his mouth and he's just trying to keep it together, and then the tears come out. I'm like, fuck, that's so good. You know, because I bought it. We're giving him all the credit. There's a bunch of other actors in here who did a wonderful supporting job in the film. I'm not going to go through and like name all the actors. Just know that the casting, the producers, whatever, like whoever brought these people together, they chose a fine cast that really brought this story to life in a very believable way.
Yeah, the kids were great.
Yeah. So, like, on all points, except for the music, this was such a wonderful film. Like, I would watch this again, and I would strongly recommend this to people because I enjoyed it so much. It hit me in ways that I wasn't ready for. Because I went in knowing in advance, I'm like, I pretty much already know what I would how I would review this movie. Do I really even need to see this? Like, am I going to gain anything from this experience? Yeah. And then I got there, and I was like, wow, I can't even believe I thought about not watching it. Like, this is such a good movie.
For reals.
Yeah.
I was like, Jaby, super 30, we have to go watch it.
Yeah.
Jaby's all like, oh, well, you know. I'm like, no, okay, we just got back from VidCon. We're gonna go watch it.
Yeah.
Come on, Jaby. And then he's all like, I love the movie.
Yeah. I had to sit in silence for like 20 minutes after the film and just like let it, because every time I tried to talk about it, I was getting choked up again. I was like, just need a moment, please.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, let's talk about spoilers. So this is your warning in advance. So.
What do you want to talk about first?
I don't even know where to start, but the dad, I think, is the place to start. I loved the dad so much. It was so heartwarming. I felt so real. I liked the little things that Hrithik was doing in the beginning of the movie, because even though he doesn't look like he's 20, I thought they did an alright job with his makeup. I wish they did something with his eyes.
Yeah, you were saying that.
Because they want him to look like someone who's
got a darker complexion.
Got a darker. I don't know what I'm doing over here.
Yeah.
Got a darker complexion, but I would imagine that he would also have brown eyes. I could be wrong. Maybe that's me being like narrow. What do you call it? Ignorant or myopic. Mm-hmm. But I would have just I imagine that different colored eyes would have made sense.
Well, I think also because Hrithik's eyes are so much his signature, his trademark, that...
Besides his thumb.
Yeah, beside his super awesome thumb. Maybe if he had darker eyes, then you wouldn't be constantly aware that you're watching Hrithik play Anand Kumar.
Right. Now, that being said, working with the costume designers or whoever was in charge of designing his outfit and whatnot, and selecting that, like, all those elements helped me to buy into this dude.
Yeah.
Who this dude was.
I thought the costumes were really great overall. Like, they really made the kids feel authentic.
Yeah.
Because growing up in Asia, I've seen kids that look like that, you know?
I was watching a review earlier from Chris Stuckman, who reviewed Aladdin, and one of his complaints about Aladdin was how the clothes just looked so clean and didn't look lived in. And it was the exact opposite here. I know that sounds super random, but like when you said that, that's what it made me think of. And it looks authentic. The outfit, like them not looking the cleanest.
Yeah.
You know, that was important. That was an important detail. They actually looked like kids who were from a very, very poor, impoverished background.
Yeah.
And you really were rooting for them in the movie.
All the way.
But what I'm talking about with Hrithik specifically was like he had a certain mannerism in the first 30 minutes that felt like someone who was younger.
Yeah.
You know, and I really liked it. I liked the development of that relationship, and it went in a way that I wasn't expecting. I was expecting the total opposite from the relationship with that lady in the movie.
From his girlfriend.
Mrinal Thakur, who played Riju. I thought that was going to be a long-lasting thing, that they were going to get back together at the end. It was going to be all hunky-dory, and they had this long, loving marriage. It wasn't that at all. But I mean, obviously, it's based on a biopic, so it was informed by something from reality. But I liked that it didn't go the expected route.
Yeah.
And that happened a few times in the movie.
Well, it just goes to show how much he gave up for these kids. You know, he could have had it all. He could have had all the money, all the success, but he threw it away because he wanted to do something bigger than himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and give back, which is a really really noble thing.
Yeah.
And I think overall that's what I love about this movie so much is just the message and the story.
Right.
Like it's so inspiring.
Right after we watched the film, Achara asked me, so how'd you feel about the Home Alone sequence at the end? I was like, I loved it. And what she means by that is Home Alone is this extravagant movie where Macaulay Culkin is this young 7-year-old kid who creates this elaborate scheme to basically deal with these two thugs, these two thieves who are trying to rob him.
Yeah, two robbers.
And he's just a really clever kid. And so what you have here is this moment where these kids are doing something that's really fantastical, and it makes you question whether or not it really happened. For me, I was so into the story, I didn't care. For me, you needed that. You needed to see visually how this made sense. Like, what was the benefit of these kids going through? I mean, obviously, that is not the main benefit, but you see how much they have an advantage over these thugs with these weapons because they're so intelligent.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that they were trying to show with Anand Kumar's teaching throughout the movie is that it's unorthodox.
Right.
He teaches it in a very practical way, and then they gain the confidence to be able to go, no, wait, we have knowledge, so we're going to kick their asses, and they do. It's
Right.
very satisfying, and it's very entertaining as well.
Right.
It makes it like a fun movie.
Right.
You know?
I'm not over that relationship with the dad. That really broke my heart.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when
I had a feeling from the time the bicycle chain, they first focused on that bit, I was like, oh god, dad's gonna go. Oh no.
That was a good call, actually. I mean, I thought that was... See, that right there is brilliant filmmaking because they set you up.
Yeah.
Because it looks like the bike's gonna break, and it doesn't because the dad knows how to ride it.
Yeah.
But it puts into your mind, oh, what if he dies? Like, how he might die. And your first thought is, well, he'll die on the bike or something like that.
That's what I thought,
right?
yeah.
And he basically did.
Yeah. But because his son didn't know how to
Exactly.
ride it.
No, but it was foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And it was great
It's
because
genius.
it came through. I'm like, oh my God, that's so smart. Because I kind of forgot about it up until it happened. And when they were riding, it surprised
It's
me.
tragic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I loved about the dad character as well was just how optimistic he was and how much he wanted his son to succeed and how much he was willing to give up, you know, and instilling in him that belief that, you know,
Relentless love as well.
exactly, the relentless love
but the belief
and the
of what?
belief that just because you were born poor, if you are skilled, like you can take over the king, like you know,
I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
No, I think everybody
You know
understands
I
what you
mean?
mean. No, we all get it. I get like
If you're worthy,
Yeah,
if
no.
you have the talent, if you have the smarts, like you're gonna get it.
it makes sense that you're struggling to fight because I mean it moves you to the point that you're speechless.
Yeah.
This movie, and it's hard to articulate sometimes what exactly it's making you feel because it made me feel so many things. The part where I completely broke down was, and it happens so fast in the movie that it's not really meant for that.
Yeah.
You know, because you've got these scenes where it's like dedicated to allowing the audience to cry.
Yes.
Right? To give you a chance to grieve. But the part that got me was when the two, I'm going to try to hold it together here. The two ladies were trying to feed the kids and they ran out of rice.
Yeah, the last kid, his face. Oh my god.
And then the one kid was like, it's okay. And he takes some of his and shares it. I'm just like, fuck. Ooh! And for some reason, that really messed me up. And I don't know why. And I think it's because they are literally, figuratively and literally hungry for education.
Yeah.
And they're sharing what little they've got just so they can keep going here in this endeavor. And I'm like, oh my God, I just started like, just like trying to keep it together. And just, because like the movie's not meant for that response. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's like, that. No, we're good. And she looked at me, she's like, you okay? I'm like, good, what? I'm good. Leave me alone.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Do you not know men? We don't want to be bothered. So.
Yeah, but I think it also shows as well, and I find this a lot, sometimes the people who have the least are the most generous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're all in it together. They all want each other to succeed. And they do, which is so awesome.
One of the most important things that this movie's talking about was just they overtly called it out, but the mafia that can be the education system. And
Yeah.
we experienced that here as well. We got a dude named Bernie Sanders, I'm sure you're aware of, who's like fighting for free education for everybody because it is a mafia in a way. The whole thing is a rickety ass system that doesn't make a whole lot of sense and it benefits the top 1% all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, for me as a kid in high school, I immediately thought, there's no way I have any chance of getting into university. I'm just not smart enough. There's no way I could do it. I didn't feel confident in that way. And, you know, it's not really meant to help everybody rise. You know, it's meant to keep a lot of people down and help the 1% stay the 1%.
Right, and especially with these coaching classes, which is specifically what they're talking about, it is big money.
The one other thing I didn't like, well, this is still about the music, but I didn't like some of the lyrics. I mean, obviously I'm reading lyrics, and so it has a different impact on you when you're hearing it in Hindi, but
Right.
I didn't like some of the overt songs. Literally telling you what's happening in the movie, literally telling you what they're going through in the movie. I'm like, I was happy without that. I can see what's happening. I can see what Hrithik's doing. Like when he was transitioning into the dude who's like, oh yeah, we don't have any like free education here. Get lost, kid. When
Yeah.
he becomes that guy, I was enjoying that up until the music started telling me what was happening in the movie. Like what money does to you, how it makes you greedy, this, that, and the third. I'm like, now I'm not buying into it as much, and it feels contrived.
Yeah.
It feels forced. And once we got past that section of the movie, I felt so much better. Once he sees the kid studying, and he's like, what are you doing? And he goes,
Yeah.
and then you can feel it happening. I loved that moment in the movie because you knew exactly where this was going. Like, this is his turning point. And you can very clearly see the moment everything was, like, the most pivotal moment for him in his life, where everything changed. And he literally, like, gives up everything for these
Yeah.
people. You know, he's the giving tree. Literally, until he's a stump, like, until he's got nothing left to give, he's just giving everything.
Yeah.
The other part that made me cry, unexpectedly so, was when they were doing the play.
Yeah.
You know?
That was incredible. I loved that scene. I thought it was just so amazing. It just shows you, like, they were just giving it their all.
Yeah.
Like, you guys look down on us, but we don't care anymore. Like,
Right.
we're just going to say no. It was just this one word. No, 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 no.
Right.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, and no some more.
Right.
We're not going to, she's not going to dance for you, filthy dogs.
One of the things that I enjoyed about that, though, was that he said, no, nothing but English. You can't
Yeah.
use any Hindi, nothing else. But they reached
Breaking point.
they reached what I was going to call a fuck it point.
Yeah.
Like, just fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
we are so overwhelmed with and charged with emotion, we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And that moment of not caring anymore and just putting it all out there was so inspiring. And it's like, obviously, Hrithik didn't care about what language they were speaking.
Yeah.
It was about that confidence of, like, we got this.
Yeah,
You know, who cares about our
exactly.
class? Who
And-
cares about our status?
And then everyone joined them on the stage, and they
Right.
were, there was that great moment of exchange, like, here, put on my glasses, and like,
Right.
yeah, we can accept you and stuff, which is really quite moving and very, very powerful, because I loved that setback in the movie where they take the exam and they lose.
Right.
And it wasn't even because they're not as smart, it was just because they lacked the confidence. And so then he learned that as a teacher, in addition to teaching them, how to ace the test, which they could do, no problem, obviously, he had to teach them to get over their own kind of holding themselves back with their unworthiness or belief that they were not worthy of this position.
Yeah, the inhibitions.
Yeah.
Was making them lose confidence. And
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah. Anyway, I love this movie. I thought it was wonderful. I obviously have some grievances with it because it was pushed in my face a little too hard sometimes. But overall, like, I was moved in a way that I was not anticipating. And I loved Hrithik's acting. That was my biggest takeaway. It was just that man knows how to cry.
Yeah.
And make me cry in the process. There was just so much,
Yeah, I loved his acting. I loved all of the acting overall. I thought it was great. And most importantly, I loved the message that they're putting forth, which is this whole hierarchy that we've been taught to believe, that the upper classes can lord it over the lower classes. Whatever, we don't need that anymore. If you are talented, if you have the skill, then you should be able to rise. And if you rise, you bring everyone with you. So it only helps the entire country.
Right.
So
What is this saying? Rising tides, ships, something.
ships, rising tides.
Rising tides lifts all boats.
Yes.
Is that
Correct.
what it is? A rising tide lifts all boats is a saying that has become more and more common in recent decades. Is often used in economic and political contexts.
There we go.
The aphorism, a rising tide lifts all boats, is associated with the idea that improvements in the general economy will benefit all participants in that economy.
Same with education. If you educate your children, then it's just going to lift everyone up. And I think that, what Anand Kumar is doing, it's great work.
The harrowing experience of his life, man. The end has also hit me pretty hard. The fact that his life has been threatened multiple times up until like last year. Like, golly. I'm so glad that Hrithik went ahead and participated in the telling of this story. Irrespective of how you feel about him or whatever, like, I think it's awesome that he used his star power to bring this story to life.
Yeah.
Because it's an important story. There are so many reasons why I'm glad this movie exists. Let's just put it that way. So anyways, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Do let us know your feelings in the comments below, and let us know your thoughts on our thoughts. Check out Achara KIRK on the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out our other reactions, reviews, and short films. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara KIRK.
Peace out.